presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
We've reached the final homestand of the 2017 season, and it kicks off tonight with 3 against the Pirates from Great American Ballpark on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi again, everyone. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Jim Day. Thanks for joining us for Reds Baseball. Reds have had a tough go of it on the road in a rebuilding season, but during this season at home, they've played 500 baseball, Chris, including winners of their last 4.
Yeah, they're at even 36 up and 36 down here at a Great American Ballpark. And really from the beginning of the year, they played much better here when they were in front of their home crowd. You know, I don't know whether it's the short porches or whether it's the confidence of the players playing at home, but they've been able to do it pretty good, and it's not translated on the road, but you know, they got 4 straight going on right here. They like to extend that streak now against the Pirates.
Reds will give the ball tonight to Homer Bailey, no stranger to the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of his 2 career no-hitters against the Pirates, and last time out, pretty decent start against the Pirates.
Well, he's had some good starts, especially for the first 6 innings, and then he seems to run out of gas. And, you know, Brian Price is one of those managers that is trying to get Bailey out there for a little bit more because they're going to need that out of him next year, and this is where Homer Bailey wants to get over the hump. But when you're coming back from a long layoff like Homer is and some arm injuries, you know, you get fatigued a little bit, and that ball just gets up a little bit. He's also had some bad luck in the 7th inning, but overall, he's due for a win.
He will face Chad Kuhl tonight, and if you're looking for growth out of a pitcher, the Pirates have certainly got that from Kuhl over the second half.
Well, he made the opening day roster, and he was on there and started 15 games early in the year, and he was dismal. So they moved him back down to minor leagues. He improved incredibly down there, and since July the 1st, his earned run average is under 3. So what he's been able to do is command his fastball a little bit. He sinks it a lot, and he's got a really nice slider. That's the best pitch for him working right now.
Little Friday night baseball coming up on Fox Sports Ohio, and when we come back, 4 seems to be the number against the Pirates. Jeff Pecora will have that explanation when we come back on your home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio.
to you by Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good, it's Skyline time.
Good evening. I'm Local 12 News meteorologist John Gum. Look at the forecast for tonight's game. Looks outstanding. Great weather back in the Cincinnati area this evening. Right around 75 degrees tonight for the first pitch of the Reds and Pirates. 70 by the 7th inning stretch. And into the upper 60s by the final out. Should be great weather for Fireworks Friday. Enjoy the game right here on Fox Sports Ohio.
All right, the final homestand of the season gets underway tonight, and the first 3 games are against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, the Reds have already won the season series against Pittsburgh. These two teams play 19 times, and the Reds already have a 10-6 lead there. And in those wins, they've averaged 4.6 a game, and you see their 16 home runs as well, just 11 for Pittsburgh. So over a run better a game and quite a few more home runs. But the story of the game is really this. It's our Elk and Elk storyline. As you heard Jim Day say, the Reds like to score, and when they score a lot, they simply win. They score 4 or more runs. They're 10-0 against this team, including almost 7 runs a game, almost 300 average, and 15 home runs. When they score 3 or less, they're 0-6, averaging 1 run a game, hitting just 191, and in those 6 losses have hit just 1 home run. So more is what you would like if you're a Reds fan, as they can build on that big number of 10-6. All right, coming up, it's the first pitch, and Joey Votto, who was having one heck of a second half. Hope it continues tonight with his 6.1 WAR rating, the best of any first baseman in baseball. Coming up, Jim and Chris.
First of 3 Reds and Pirates coming up here on Fox Sports Ohio. Let's check out how Clint Hurdle will line them up tonight. It'll be Adam Frazier leading off, Jordan Luplow batting second. The always dangerous Andrew McCutchen in the 3 spot, Josh Bell, David Freese, Polanco, Diaz, Moroff, and the pitcher tonight, Chad Kuhl. On the mound for the Reds, right-hander Homer Bailey making his 21st career start against the Pirates and 2nd this season.
Well, 15 starts previous to this one for Homer Bailey. That's the most he's had since going back to 2014 when he had 23 starts. Career-wise for Bailey, 64 wins, 62 losses, earned run average right around 4.5. And against the Pirates, he's had pretty much a full season's worth of work. 20 starts overall and just one game over 500 against his Pirates team. He's seen a lot of guys in Pirates uniforms, but on this roster right now, Andrew McCutchen and Bailey have hooked up the most.
Talk about that matchup coming up. First pitch on the way from Bailey, and it's taken for a strike, and this game is underway. 78 degrees, your game time temperature. And not a cloud in the sky. As you look at Frazier's numbers this season. And his numbers have really been good since the All-Star break. .339 hitter overall since the break. Playing second base tonight, Cincinnati product Josh Harrison, done for the season. When he was hit by a pitch against these Reds, Tyler Mahle. Frazier getting the call tonight at second, and he's facing a 2-1 count. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Heard Jeff McCorrell talk about this season series. It got off to a roaring start for the Reds when they won 8 of the 9 meetings to begin the season series against the Pirates, but have lost now 5 of their last 7. Trying to change that around here tonight.
Well, really, when the Pirates were in contention, Jim, and they've been in and out of contention on and off pretty much throughout the entire 2017 season leading up until the last 2 or 3 weeks, they could look at one area and say this is where we needed to improve, and that was play against the Reds.
Clint Hurdle, 60 years of age, led his team to playoffs 3 consecutive years, 2013 to 2015. And this Pirates club on July 21st were really opening eyes. Everyone wondering if they were going to make a run. 1 game over 500, but since tied for the 3rd worst record in Major League Baseball at 19-31. 2-2 pitch again is fouled off again. But the Pirates are going to stick with their plan. In early September, they announced Clint Hurdle with a 4-year contract extension. We now under contract through 2021.
Well, the same goes for his general manager, Neil Huntington, and they've been kind of like hand in glove ever since they've been around in Pittsburgh. Of course, it was Huntington and Hurdle responsible for breaking the longest yearly losing streak in professional sports. And when he finally got the Pirates into a winning record, and they really appreciate the job he's done. I think he's a good man for the job. They seem to be in a perpetual rebuilding, but when they get close enough, they go out and pick a few players up and try to make a run for it.
9th pitch of the at-bat coming, and it misses inside. We've gone full.
The other thing that the Pirates have done since hiring Hurdle and Huntington is that they've increased their attendance to just about league average. And in Pittsburgh, that's a huge undertaking. They've dropped down now back to about 24,000 per game, but when they were winning, they get 30,000 a game in there.
Bailey keeps serving them up, and Frazier keeps fouling them off.
Well, you're always looking for a put-away pitch, you know, when you have a guy foul off a lot of pitches, and Bailey's put-away pitches against left-handers mostly have been that split-finger fastball. He gets good command of that, and hitters will swing right over the top of it.
Shakes Barnhart off, gets what he wants, and delivers the 3-2 again, and again fouled out of play. Eleven pitch at bat so far. And a bat like this will certainly cut into how far you go into a game, as Bailey has yet to pitch a complete 7 innings this season. Not the start he's looking for, and again fouled out of play.
I always wanted to have. I got a question for you, Jim Day. Why is it that when the batter has a long at bat like Frazier's having against Bailey right here, going to 12 pitches, you always say, well, what a good at bat by the hitter right there. What about the pitcher? I mean, you got to throw a lot of strikes to have a 12 pitch at bat and have the guy still in the batter's box.
Did you just get a text from the Pitchers Association, the Pitchers Union? 3-2 again fouled back. So a terrific at bat by the pitcher Homer Bailey.
Nice acrobatic stunt there by the Reds ball boy.
Get a little hand too. You know you got to sell out whatever job you're in. Check our guy out.
Here he comes.
Coming in. Oh.
When in doubt, slide.
You know what?
Say that.
He got right back up though. Finished the job. 3-2 yet again, and this one into right field and caught for out number 1. That's Jesse Winker in right. So Bailey had a hard time retiring Frazier, but he does so. Here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Reds. Around the outfield, it's Duvall, Shepler, and Winker. Suarez, Cozart, Peraza, Votto, Barnhart hanging the signs for Homer Bailey. And there's Jesse Winker. Getting some time in right field. Shepler in center with Billy Hamilton still out with that fractured thumb. His return still very much in doubt. And there's Billy. Was not on the road trip with the Reds. And Brian Price talked about him today, saying that split still on a couple more days.
He's about the only one not on that road trip, right?
It was quite the full airplane and dugout and clubhouse. As you look at Jordan Luplow's numbers on the season, I think 35 of the 40-man roster is on the trip, in addition to some. 1-1 in the air. Suarez drifts into foul territory. 2 down. And now Andrew McCutchen. Chris, you mentioned that these two, Bailey and McCutchen, have hooked up many times. In fact, no one has faced Bailey more than McCutchen. 60 plate appearances. And he's had success, a .313 career average off of Bailey. But, and let's put this in the category, if you believe in announcer jinxes, which I don't, but he is yet to hit a home run off of Bailey in those 60 at-bats. First pitch. But on Wednesday, milestone for McCutchen, his 200th career home run. He's one of 4 players in Pirates history to hit at least 200, and he joins a very select cast. Willie Stargell, Ralph Kiner, and Roberto Clemente.
McCutchen is a pro's pro, and not just a good hitter, but he's a good all-round player. Base runner, defender, right place, right time, team leader. And when you've had as many at-bats against the same pitcher, you know, it's all a matter of execution. Execution for the pitcher, same for the batter. You know, because they pretty much know not what's coming, but certainly what a pitcher has. So it's up to McCutchen to put a good swing on it, and it's up to Bailey to put the pitch in the right spot.
2-1. Strike, says Alan Porter. Crew chief Joe West down at first base. Tom Woodring umpiring second. Andy Fletcher at third. Barnhart setting up outside. Here comes the 2-2. Little dribbler. Stays fair. Suarez barehand play. Throws it away. And McCutchen's on his way to second base. Peraza retrieves it. Throw down. Got him. Nice hustle play. Jose Peraza. That ball did not go into the stands. Stayed in play, and McCutchen paid for it. So it ends up being a 1-2-3 inning the hard way. As you look again, Suarez throws it away. McCutchen tries it, but to no avail. Reds coming up. Great American Ballpark. So we check out our Menard starting lineup for the Reds. Jesse Winker getting another shot in the leadoff spot, followed by Zach Cozart. 3, 4, and 5. Votto, Suarez, Schebler, Adam Duvall, who's been hitting down in the lineup of late. Peraza at second base, Tucker Barnhart, and Homer Bailey, your battery tonight. And on the mound, right-hander, 25-year-old Chad Kuhl, who's had quite the second half.
Well, the young man who was from Bear, Delaware, ended up doing his schooling at the University of Delaware. That's where the Pittsburgh Pirates drafted him in the 3rd round of 2014. Actually, he was at California State Fresno at that time when they picked him up. A young man that comes from one of the smallest states in the country.
He's making his first ever start at Great American Ballpark, which can be a different animal.
Well, it can be when the ball's really flying, but you wouldn't think on a night like this when the temperatures cool down, very comfortable to watch a game, no wind really. So, I mean, if you're going to hit a home run, except right down the line, they're going to be legit tonight.
Winker, a .289 batter, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs.
What you're going to see mostly out of Kuhl are fastballs down, sliders, occasional changeups to left-handers. But when he gets a right-hander in there, his slider is his favorite pitch. There's a running fastball right there. We're going to call that a sinker tonight. He doesn't throw many four-seamers that are up around the letters. You know, the easy way to describe a guy like this is the old-fashioned way. Oh, he's a sinker slider guy. But he will throw that occasional changeup in there. It's all about command. He walked 5 his last time out. That was against the Cardinals.
Winker rips one, but foul. Kuhl making his 2nd career start against the Reds back on August 3rd at PNC Park. 7 scoreless innings, including 6 punchouts. Walk 2 on that night. Pitch. Called strike 3. Winker doesn't like it, but he'll take a seat and bring up Zach Cozart.
Well, the catcher's setting up away, and I'm not sure if Winker felt that or not. And he's thinking, all right, I'm looking for a pitch out over the plate here. And Kuhl misses the spot, but he hits the strike zone. So even though his catcher Diaz has to reach across the plate to catch it, it has a lot of the dish.
And now Cozart, 300 hitter, 20 home runs, 58 RBIs. Hit his 20th home run on the road trip. The Reds now with 6 players with 20 or more long ones. And the 2-0 rip right at the third baseman Freeze. Here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Pirates. Around the outfield, Luplow, Cutchin, Gregory Polanco in right field. Freeze, Moroff, Frazier, Bell, Elias, Diaz catching Chad Kuhl tonight. And now Votto. 2 outs. First pitch rip, and see you later. Home run number 35. And a 1-0 Reds lead.
Well, I think the young Chad Kuhl's been watching too many Joey Votto movies. You know, where Votto goes 0-2, then he works the count and then ends up taking a walk. In this particular bat, he is ready for numero uno, and Kuhl provides it for him.
Team leading 35th. That's his 10th first inning home run. And that matches the most in his career in the first inning since 2010. And you remember that season, it was an MVP season. As far as Reds history goes, only George Foster in 1977 had more first inning home runs, 12.
It's funny you bring up that 2010 season for the Reds and Joey Votto's MVP. That's the year that the Reds won 92 games and finished in first place. That helps with the MVP vote. I mean, Votto's having as good or better a season this year than he is in 2010. There's a lot of other players in the league having good offensive years as well. But you have a hard time winning the MVP when you have a last place club.
Just a thing of beauty when you watch him connect like that. With now his 35th, he passes Blackman and Goldschmidt, third in the National League in home runs. Quite the season for number 19. Swing and a miss. Suarez goes down, but not before Votto gives the Reds a 1-0 lead. Look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, as always brought to you by Miller Lite. The new home run comes a new celebration. Votto, Winker, just like Chris Welsh used to do back in the day.
I had more opportunity to give a celebration after I gave him up. And it usually involved a shovel, a hole, jumping in, have somebody cover me up.
Here's Bailey versus Josh Bell. Kick off the second inning.
Still getting buried regularly by Marty Brenneman. But of course,
join the crowd.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? I'm the #1 whipping boy. You got to get behind me in line on that one. Josh Bell, quite the rookie season. This season ranks first amongst National League rookies in hits, doubles, triples, walks, and games played. Check swing, appeal, and yes, says Andy Fletcher, and down goes Bell. First strikeout for Bailey.
Bailey gets his first strikeout, and it only takes him 4 batters to get that. That was a full pitch right there by Homer Bailey. Didn't know what Bell was looking for, and he was hoping he could hold back.
Now David Freese, 265 hitter.
You know, Bailey's had the task of kind of reinventing himself a little bit. Not coming back as a completely different type of pitcher, but he doesn't have that blazing four-seam fastball that rides at the top of the zone anymore. So you're going to see him working downstairs more. You know, two-seamers that run a little bit. Now, you may say, hey, 94 miles an hour, that's what he used to throw, but they used to measure the speed of the pitches differently, and I think all pitchers now are throwing harder than they did just a couple of years ago, just based on how they measure the speed. A little runner like that, not bad. He's thrown, you know, some games where he's thrown a lot of two-seamers, we call sinkers. A lot of other games this year he's thrown four-seamers.
Freese 6 for 23 in his career off of Bailey. Does have 2 home runs amongst those 23 at bats.
What Bailey has not done a lot of so far here in just the first 5 batters is throw that split finger fastball very much. He may be saving that for the second or third time around.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss.
There it is right there.
Back-to-back punch outs for Bailey.
It's kind of an age-old trick of a pitcher. You throw your hardest pitch as hard as you can right around the eyeballs or the letters, and then you come back with something down in the opposite part of the zone off speed. And Freese swings right over the top of it. That is an excellent delivery by Bailey.
In steps Gregory Polanco. .257 batter, 10 home runs, 32 RBIs. Hitless in his last 6 at bats. Came off the DL last Friday. There's a fly ball to center field. Schebler's got it measured. And a 1-2-3 second for Bailey. 1-0 Reds over the Pirates. Good to be home. Reds this season playing 500 baseball as opposed to just 27 wins on the road. They've won 4 straight here in their home park. Lost 7 of 9 on the road. They've scored more runs here and the ERA better at GABP. Chad Kuhl, after giving up a first inning home run to Joey Votto, will face Schebler, Duvall, and Peraza here in the home half of the second for the Reds. First pitch to Schebler, a swing and a miss. And taken for a called strike on the inside part of the plate, and cool ahead 0-2 on Schebler. Here's a long drive, right center field, but the park will hold it. Polanco gloves it. Out number 1. The Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during tonight's game. James Thompson from Amelia, Ohio will win the beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Here's Adam Duvall. One out here in the second. Fouls the first pitch back. .250 batter is Duvall. 31 home runs and a team leading 96 RBIs, although Votto has climbed within one of that with 95 after that first inning home run. And that's a source of pride. Friendly rivalry going on there as far as RBIs and even home runs. Votto a team leading 35th. Duvall hitting cleanup most of the season. Brian Price moving him down in the lineup. Much of what we saw last year, and Duvall's numbers slid off in the second half. Same thing has happened this year, although you look at the full numbers as he swings and misses. Look at the full numbers, they're very comparable to last year. 3 of them now for Cool.
But you're wondering really if that's the next thing that Adam Duvall needs to tackle to take his performance and numbers, if you want to call them that, to the next level, is to how to sustain that incredible first half deeper into the season, or pick up a little of that magic in the second half.
With 2 outs, it's Jose Peraza. Takes the first pitch, fastball down low, 1-0. Had him fooled. Peraza playing second base. Scooter Gennett still out with a hand injury, and here's a single up the middle, base hit for Peraza with 2 outs here in the second.
Now Peraza goes right downstairs to get a slider that kind of hangs a little bit for him. Ends up on the inner third of the plate and stays right on it to drive it up the middle for a solid base hit. Now what we've seen him do a couple of times in a row here in St. Louis with Tucker Barnhart up at the plate. We'll take a look at his little footwork right here. If you see his back foot, he actually steps back with his back foot. One of the few major leaguers that I've ever seen do that. But what we've seen Peraza do the last couple of days in St. Louis is attempt to steal with Barnhart at the plate. 2 out, number 8 hitter up. Why not take a shot right here? That way you have the number 8 hitter leading off the next inning. If he gets on, the pitcher bunts him over.
Does it go this time? Peraza 22 steals on the season, has been caught 6 times. A 1 pitch. 0-2.
You may have seen the sign there by Iglesias, the Pirates catcher. He kind of flips the thumb up like you're, say, playing marbles. And that is a sign universally used really among most ball clubs. Just go ahead and throw the ball over to first base.
Now, most of those calls come from the dugout anymore. When I'm down there, I see most of them coming from the manager.
Yeah, most of them do. I think nowadays most teams like to control the running game rather than let the pitcher, worry about it. So they take one less item off the pitcher's shelf, and they say, all right, we'll control the running game. We'll tell you when to throw over, and if they steal a base, it's on us.
1-2 pitch, way inside, nearly hit him.
Really a solid year for Barnhart. 270 batter, hitting in the 8th spot for the majority of the year. Not an easy place at all to hit in the lineup. Pitchers are constantly pitching around you in a lot of circumstances. Stroked the ball to left field a lot this year. Just had a solid season.
2-2. And defensively one of the best in the game, not only at throwing out runners, but keeping that ball in front of him. I mean, pitchers, they just trust so much they can throw the ball in the dirt.
Yeah, one of the things I like to do is talk to the umpires about different catchers and who do you like, who don't you like, who talks a lot, things like that. And the one thing they universally say about Barnhart is that they just love him in front of them behind the plate. Gets real small, very steady.
There goes Peraza. And a 2-out walk. So first and second, 2 outs for the pitcher, Homer Bailey.
Well, the one thing that's been consistent for Chad Kuhl, whether it's in the beginning of the year when his earned run average was up around 6, or later in the year here when his earned run average is a very respectable 2.9, is that he's had a hard time with left-handers. He just doesn't seem to have that put-away pitch yet. And I really like the way that his pitching coach, Ray Searage, described the development of a pitcher. It's not a linear process. Doesn't go straight up or straight down. There's always little grooves up and down and up and down, hopefully always trending upward.
Well, you mentioned what the art form is of hitting 8th. Barnhart does a good job of drawing the walk and at least turning the lineup over. Although look at Bailey's numbers this year, 6 for 22, 273 average as a hitting pitcher. Two and one. Foul out of play.
I just don't know why more pitchers don't throw opposing pitchers in the batter's box just more breaking balls. They don't have to be good ones. Just spin them up there. They never practice hitting breaking balls. And if you've got a decent one at all, you can usually put them away. Why wait till you have 2 strikes to throw it? He's getting one right here, almost guaranteed.
Fastball. Chopped. Tough play. Just getting the out at first base. The Reds strand 2. They lead 1-0.
The Cleveland Indians going right now. Last night, 2-2, bottom of the 10th. Jay Bruce drives one into the corner. RBI walk-off. Jay Bruce 33-5 since joining the Tribe. 3-2, the Indians win it. It's time now for our Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Cleveland Indians in the midst of a 22-game winning streak, second longest in Major League Baseball history. Only the New York Giants back in 1916 won 26 in a row. But look at these numbers. The Indians during the streak have outscored the opponents 142-37, giving up or hit 41 home runs, and their ERA is 1.58. During this time span, every other team in the American League has lost at least 8 games, and they are running away with it, boys, and playing great baseball. Nice to see Jay Bruce land on his feet there, and they also got Andrew Miller back, so they're even getting stronger.
Well, Jay Bruce has gone as far as saying it's fate that this is where he belongs in an Indians uniform, and we're happy for him, and we're certainly happy for our Fox brethren to the north as Homer Bailey faces Iglesias Diaz to begin the third. That was the first of 4 against the Royals last night, and they are tied up at 1 second inning up in Cleveland tonight. We'll keep an eye on that one. Right side, drifting out of play.
Diaz and Chris Stewart are the 2 catchers right now getting all the playing time. Their starting catcher, Francisco Cervelli, still on a 10-day disabled list. They did call up another catcher, Jacob Stallings. Diaz really getting the nod more than Stewart at this point.
And it is Iglesias. It took him a while, but he finally told people that his name is pronounced Iglesias. Or would it be Elias?
More like the statistics company would be Elias.
There you go. Well, a lot of people thought it was Elias Diaz.
That's
Elias
26
Diaz.
years old from Maracaibo, Venezuela.
1-2 pitch to Diaz in the air. Right center field, chasing it. Schebler won't get it. One bouncing over the wall. Oh, a leadoff double for Diaz here in the third.
We have a really great view right behind home plate in our TV booth, and from a high center field camera you can see how this ball really curves. It looks like with Schebler playing center field, at first he's going to have a shot at this ball, but the ball just keeps kind of slicing away from him, slicing away until it goes all the way in the right center field corner, or right center field gap.
And now shortstop Max Moroff. As Jordy Mercer getting a rare day off at shortstop tonight for the Pirates. Now from the stretch in the 0-1 pitch. Max Moroff played in the 2005 Little League World Series and then returned to where he starred for the Florida team this season. And the Pirates played in the Little League Classic, and it was quite, he just said it was the time of his life to go back there. And obviously the time of your life when you play in the Little League World Series.
I think all the players who went back and played in that classic game, the major league game that they played there in Williamsport, just really enjoyed themselves. Got to hang out with all the little leaguers that have qualified to go that far into the Little League Championship. Very cool experience.
1-2. Good block by Barnhart.
Moroff trying to get the ball to the right side. Bailey trying to get him to chase something down and away to keep him from doing that.
Reds trying to hold on to a 1-run advantage. Foul tip into the glove of Barnhart, and down goes Moroff. Speaking of that Little League Classic, Major League Baseball did a terrific job of connecting the youngsters with the big leaguers. I really like the way they delivered the ceremonial first pitch. And then at the end of the game, this got the most pub right here. Just like they do in Little League after the game, both teams got in a line, shook hands. You know, a lot of people wonder why they don't do that every game, and then you remind them they play 162 of these. But I don't know. It was
maybe
cool
they
to
ought
see.
to do it in the last game of the series.
There you go. A little compromise would work for me. I mean, there was a day, in fact, you guys talked about it on the road trip. There was a day where you didn't fraternize with the opposing team on the field.
Actually, still a rule in the rule book. It's just never enforced.
But I thought it was very cool. It will start a trend. Pirates announcers after this one will go over and get in a high five line. What do you think? You with me?
I think the other way around there, Jim. In case there's a fight that breaks out, you've got John Wehner and I'll take Joe Block. Wehner's the former catcher.
But I thought I saw Bob Walk over there.
Oh, I'll take Walkie. Walkie and I'll just head out to the back hallway. Have a cup of coffee. Yeah, Wehner's doing a little radio tonight. That's Bob Walk and Joe Black. Or Block.
See, Walk would invent it as it goes, not like he did on the mound, just inventing pitches as he goes. So I wouldn't want any part of him.
Yeah, it's funny. Bob Walk is a California guy, right? Isn't he from California?
I think so, but he's the definition of Pittsburgh now.
Absolutely. Been doing this for the Pirates for a long, long time. Had a nice major league career.
Was he giving signs over there? He's locked in on that monitor. Here's a base hit up the middle off the bat of the pitcher Chad Kuhl. They're going to hold the runner at third.
Well, the catcher at second base, Iglesias, got a very bad break on that. He thought that may be caught as a line drive going up the middle. Wasn't sure if the shortstop was going to get to it. He kind of hesitated and froze. So by the time he got going, Joey Cora, third base coach, going to hold him up.
Pretty good piece of hitting. Cole waited back, went down and got it. So first and third, one out. Now back to the top of the order, and Adam Frazier.
That's one of those situations, though, if Max Moroff is able to get the job done, get the run over to third base, he's got a tie ball game.
Frazier has produced 13 hits and 14 RBIs in his last 25 at bats with runners in scoring position. One pitch. First at bat, a 14 pitch at bat. Which was the longest at bat to start a game this season. Against the Reds. in all of Major League Baseball, says Joe Luckham. Lucky. And Frazier draws a walk, so now trouble of brewing. Bases juiced. 1 out. Jordan Luplow coming to the plate. First walk offered up by Bailey, and Tucker Barnhart will have a conversation. Well, Jordan Luplow certainly cherishes the matchup against the Reds because he'll forever remember this one. His first career home run came off of Wandy Peralta back on September 2nd. Also got his first career hit against the Reds, that coming off of Tyler Mahle. Quite the situation here. Bases loaded, 1 out, and he fouls the first pitch back.
Well, he started the season in Double-A, Luplow did, ended up in Triple-A, where he actually had better numbers up there than he did in the Double-A Altoona. Diaz is a runner at third base. He was a guy that was decoyed back into diving into the bag by Barnhart's fake throw. And he's looking at Barnhart down there saying, hey, well, what about the catcher's fraternity here? Making me get all dirty like that.
At least he can laugh it off. Crowd had a chuckle.
Here's what we're talking about.
He didn't quite make it back.
But nobody near the bag. The cover. Yeah, so it was just a complete fake. They'll be talking about that when one of them comes up as a hitter.
Ball gets away. Barnhart retrieves it. Runners will stay put. Even the ones that get away from Tucker don't seem to get quite far enough away. He has become so adept. One-two pitch in the air. Left center field. This will be deep enough to get a run in. Schebler gloves it. Tagging up and scoring is Diaz, and we're tied at 1.
It's a pretty good swing by Jordan Luplow. You're going to hear a lot about him in years to come. I really like him. He's only 23 years old. He did hit about 25 home runs, I think, between Double-A, Triple-A, and the 2 that he's hit here in the big leagues. Pretty good swing. Did not miss that one by much at all.
Pitching coach Mac Jenkins will take a trip to the mound.
Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of talking going on. I'm wondering if maybe Mac Jenkins just going to give him a little bit of a breather. Like a number of these starts we've seen with Homer Bailey, his pitch count rising quickly.
25 pitches this inning, so indeed, I think you're right. Just give him a little bit of a breather. Got Andrew McCutchen coming to the plate. You got 2 outs, 2 runners on. Trying to keep this game at 1-1. McCutchen singled his first time up, an infield hit, but after an errant throw tried to stretch it out to second base on a 4-6 putout to end the first. 303 hitter this season with runners in scoring position. The 0-1 from Bailey. Ground ball. Votto has it. Take it himself. Pirates strand 2, but they tie the game up at 1 here at GABP.
Park, thanks to John Morrell, the first 20,000 fans through the gates will receive a triple bobblehead featuring Reds first baseman past and present Tony Perez, Sean Casey, and Joey Votto. Catch all the action for as low as $12. For tickets, visit Reds.com. Jim J and Chris Welsh, tomorrow might be a big day for some of the pitchers on this Reds team because Brian Price says tomorrow he'll let us know what the rotation is going to look like for most of the rest of the season. Of course, Tyler Mahle, a lot of us have been asking him, is he going to go again? He's close to that innings limit. We already know Luis Castillo not pitching anymore, so very interesting. He's got a lot of guys to choose from. Who is going to pitch and when for the remainder of this homestand and that last road trip? He'll let us know tomorrow.
Well, as you said, he's certainly got a lot of guys to choose from. Sal Romano, speaking of tomorrow, will go. The rookie, Big Sally. Reds have said that the guy sitting next to him, rookie Davis, they want to get him at least one start. At least that's what they've said. All right, 1-1 game here as we move to the top of the bottom of the fourth, excuse me, and back to the top of the order, and Jesse Winker for the Reds. Winker with 5 home runs on the season, and the question that has been following him his entire professional baseball life: will you hit with more power? And his 5 home runs are certainly more than he hit at AAA this year. He had 2 for the Louisville Bats.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question of whether Jesse Winker can hit 40 home runs a year. No. But, you want a little bit of power out of your corner outfielder, because that's where, you get a lot of easy home runs. That's why Adam Duvall is playing as much as he is, which is every day. So you want a guy that can punch 25, out of that right field spot, maybe even 30 on a year where the balls are flying.
Well, if he played every day, particularly in this ballpark, you would think he would at least be a 15 to 20 guy. But time will tell.
Well, he would be this year. But you never know if the balls are going to be flying next year like they are here in 2017.
Hits one the other way, but right at the left fielder Luplow.
That's what he does do very well, which is use the whole field, drive the ball in the gap, and a lot of times get on base.
But would you trade if let's say that he hits 300 or above and maybe 15 to 20 home runs, would you trade that for power for a guy that's going to hit for average?
I mean, if he hits 300 or above, your on base percentage is pushing up around 400, and that is very intriguing to me. You start, buddying him up with Joey Votto, and you got two guys back to back who are on base all the time, and then you add that kind of juice.
Cozart, goodbye. Number 21 for Zach, and the Reds retake the lead.
Well, I'm not sure that when Zach Cozart broke into the major leagues, anybody projected this kind of power out of him. Although Chad Kuhl lays it pretty much right in the center of the strike zone. 97 miles an hour, not what it used to be. And that ball's going into the seats with a nice catch out there.
How about that catch? Young lady bringing her glove. Yes, sir. It's going right to the phone.
I think she was taking a selfie video the entire time.
Went over and got it because her seats are clear over, so judge the ball well as Votto rips one into the left center field gap. This will go to the wall. Joey on his way to second. He's 2 for 2 with a home run and a double.
Well, Votto has just smoked the ball twice, and right now Chad Kuhl has nothing really to get him out with. Mention you that left-handers have given Kuhl a much more difficult at bat just about every time up there. But look where Kuhl's missing. I mean, that's almost the same spot where he threw the ball to Cozart that Cozart deposited for a home run.
Double number 30 on the season for Joe.
So if you just want to take a real quick comparison between the two pitchers the Reds saw in St. Louis. Weaver yesterday and Flaherty the day before, both young right-handers, but they were down around the knees. I mean, they stayed down around the knees and they pitched pretty good ball games. And in this ball game, Chad Kuhl's got every bit as good a stuff as they do, but he's throwing the ball belt high. Hope some of the Reds pitchers are taking note.
Duly noted by me. I'm going to write this one in pen.
When I get down to fantasy camp, I promise I'll throw the ball at the knees.
I haven't taken part in fantasy camp. I'm not in the fantasy camp Hall of Fame like our boy Jeff Picoro down below. They're scared of me. I don't think they want any piece of me. It's another story, though. Hey, you saw those numbers of Votto, 340 career doubles now. He is too shy of Vada Pinson for 5th on the all-time Reds career doubles list. Vada Pinson, in my mind, one of the most underrated Reds of all time. Counts 1-2 to Eugenio Suarez. Diaz trying to frame it. The count's 2-2. Suarez hit his 25th home run of the season in grand fashion in St. Louis. A grand slam home run. Strike 3 called. Big out for Cool, his 4th strikeout of the night. 2 out Scott Schebler. Thought it was very interesting recently when we had Joe Morgan in the booth, how he was analyzing Schebler's swing, talking about how level of a swing that he has, and that's the reason that it rockets off his bat.
You know, in the days of players this year especially, you know, visibly trying to lift the baseball, you don't see that on Schebler. I mean, he has just kept that line drive swing, and most of the balls that he hits are line drives rather than balls that, you know, are majestic high fly ball home runs.
Yep. And as you talked about in St. Louis, he'll fool a defender because they don't realize how hard that ball is rocketing off of his bat. I mean, when he squares it up, it's an impressive sight. Streaky hitter, no question. But a good athlete too, and a hustler. Got one sitting out there at second base. 2 outs in the inning. Foul. Tonight's Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Pirates strikeout leaders. Garrett Cole, 178 of them. Now Chad Kuhl with 135 and 150 in the 3rd innings. We will see Garrett Cole on Sunday in the finale of this 3-game set. And indeed, we are on the air Sunday, by the way. Nice block by Diaz. On the original schedule, it has us not broadcasting on Sunday. That game has been added. We will be on the air here on Fox Sports Ohio for that 1:10 first pitch, 12:30 for Reds Live. And Garrett Cole will get Robert Stevenson on Sunday. Tomorrow, Sal Romano versus Ivan Nova. 3:30 for Reds Live tomorrow. First of a 9-game homestand, the final homestand of the season for the Reds. 3 against the Pirates, 3 against the Cardinals. And then we'll see the Boston Red Sox here next weekend. Which will be a very interesting weekend of not only baseball, but I know Chris Welsh, you're looking forward to kicking it with Bronson. Schebler draws a 2-out walk. You know, could he call you up on stage?
I doubt
for
that,
a little duet.
Because I really never did any singing. He did the singing and I did the crying in all those JTM commercials.
Well, see, that's where I was going. Because, I mean, together again, we got to send this thing out in style.
You know, he told me on the plane a couple of plane trips ago that he had went back and watched those really for the first time ever. And he had seen bits and pieces of them when they were first out, but he had never watched them in their entirety. Somebody had sent him a link and he called them up on YouTube and watched them. And he said he was up for hours just laughing and crying so hard that it was a good way to spend the night in the hotel.
He sits alone. Something like that, wasn't it?
He said he never thought he'd be singing a serious song about putting cheese on a burger.
Now, did you have to pause the camera to shed a tear? What was that movie, Broadcast News?
I was able to conjure that up just thinking about some of those home runs I gave up.
Oh, okay. So it came fairly easy for you. All right, back to the business at hand. First and second, 2 outs. Adam Duvall's at play. Sends the first pitch high high into the air in left field. This will be out number 3. But the Reds take the lead again off the bat of Zach Cozart. RP getting to know. Let's get to know Homer Bailey. Favorite vacation spots: Western Canada. How we look in Vancouver? Australia and South Africa. How about that? We are assuming hunting is involved. Just a slight hunch. And I'm not sure if Vancouver's in the mix there. I just threw Vancouver in them because it's a great city. There's Josh Bell. Rips one up the middle, but the Reds haven't played perfectly. One out.
Bailey could use an easy inning, that to be sure about that. Starting the 4th inning, averaging about 20 pitches per inning, so not really all that bad for Bailey. But I know that inside he'd really like to, you know, get into the over the hump and get into the 7th inning and complete that 7th frame.
First pitch to David Freese, sends it the other way for a base hit. Winker cuts it off. Freese on with a 1-out single. And now Gregory Polanco.
Now Polanco's a young player that the Pirates just fell in love with at an early age. Now they signed him to a long-term contract that will guarantee him $30 million through the age 29. And they've got 2 years of options at big-time money that they can decide to pick up or not.
We've seen Polanco a lot. When he first came up, they had earmarks of a future star. Perhaps that might still happen. You think Pittsburgh has been satisfied with what they've gotten so far?
I think he's been injured. I think they did the same thing with Starling Marte, and of course they've been, you know, disappointed with Marte and his suspension from baseball. Now Polanco's only 25 years old. His high water mark for home runs was last year when he hit 22, and he's been right around a 265 hitter in the major leagues. Actually, no, he's been more like about a 252 hitter.
Here is a drive to right. High and deep. Winker on the tracks. Got it. Polanco just misses it. I know one thing Polanco can do, and that's throw the baseball from right field. One of the better arms in the league, that for sure. Two outs and a man on. Iglesias.
I wonder if Diaz has any conversation here for Barnhart about making him dive into the dirt back to third base there.
What would the conversation be like?
Hey, bro, you better watch out if you get on base.
Not much talk going on. Barnhart looks over at the dugout, gets his signs from manager Brian Price, now delivers the signs to Bailey, and check swing. Yes, says Joe West. Cowboy Joe West.
We'll get a chance to talk about Joe West tomorrow. He'll be behind the plate, talk a little bit about his long illustrious career.
Speaking of singing, Votto gives chase, runs out of room. I think Joe West will be pulling up a bar stool tonight and doing some singing somewhere. Doesn't he often do that when he comes down? I know you're often playing that CD he put out.
The Singing Cowboy.
He had to team up with Brantley. We could have dueling cowboys. Although our cowboy would be too busy eating wings to sing. 0-2 pitch way outside. You know, our producer Josh Hall poses a very good question. I'm not sure you were privy to this. You were Cowboy was on TV, but he's got an eating shirt. So we're wondering if he has a singing shirt.
I thought his eating shirt was his pajamas.
It depends on the night. Depends on the night.
May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, maybe Country Joe West could go up and sing with those guys down at Oktoberfest. Over 500,000 people will be in Cincinnati this entire weekend to celebrate Oktoberfest Cincinnati. And it's going to be a fun day tomorrow, guys, because the Reds' #1 pick, #2 in the draft, Hunter Green, will be in town. He's going to go up and visit the Urban Youth Academy. Going to do a signing for some of the season ticket holders, and he's going to join you two up in the booth tomorrow. So this is quite the poised young man. In the 4th inning tomorrow, you're going to have a chance to talk to him about his first year in professional baseball.
And we are very much looking forward to that. As you said, a very mature beyond his years, Hunter Green. Everything we've heard and seen and read. And we'll have a lot to talk about. He'll be with us for the entire 4th inning tomorrow. Guy with a young man with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. 2nd overall pick in this year's draft. A lot of publicity coming into that draft. A lot of expectations which will be on his shoulders, and he has accepted them fully.
One of the things I really enjoy, we get a chance to do this nearly every year, visit with the Reds' first-round draft pick, and then, you know, if that draft pick is fortunate enough, and the Reds are fortunate enough that he makes the major leagues and hangs around a while, then we're able to, you know, pull out that tape years later and have some fun with him a little bit. So I'm looking forward to meeting Hunter. I've not met him, and very anxious to have a conversation.
Full count to Jose Peraza. And he draws a leadoff walk here in the 4th. 3rd walk offered up by Chad Kuhl.
Well, the one thing that's holding a lot of young pitchers back, and I think that Chad Kuhl certainly falls in that category, is that when he gets pushed up against a wall, he has a tendency to throw harder rather than smarter. And there's a perfect example right there. Jose Peraza is not likely to really do a lot of damage with you. I mean, he's hard to walk in the first place. And on a 3-2 count, rather than just throwing the ball right down the middle, making him put it into play, he's trying to nip at the corner, and he ends up with a leadoff walk.
That's 2 good at bats by Peraza. You'd love to see him hit a line drive up the middle and even to the left side of second base. And
first half of the year, he couldn't walk him at all. He was up there swinging, but he's really begun to take to understanding the strike zone a little bit more. Of course, he does not have as many at bats in the second half because that playing time has mainly gone to Scooter Gennett.
Gennett again out of the starting lineup tonight with a left hand injury. He's got swelling in the webbing between his thumb and his index finger on his left hand. Got jammed in a bat. He was to hit today for the first time before the game. His availability in this game unknown. There goes Peraza. Throw down by Diaz, head first slide, and they got him.
Boy, does Diaz have a gun.
That was not an easy ball to receive by Diaz.
I don't know if the Reds are going to ask for a review because it certainly looked awfully close, but Diaz, my goodness, what a gun.
Was that from his knees?
Yes.
Arce.
Had a good tag down there at the other end, too. I mean, he really doesn't even have time to set his feet. Just gets his back cleat in the dirt and lets it loose.
Base hit right field, Tucker Barnhart. It's the 7th time Peraza caught stealing this season against 22 successful thefts. Now with 1 out here in the 4th, Homer Bailey will most certainly be trying to bunt Tucker Barnhart over.
Well, the Reds had a big ceremony before the game tonight with a gentleman that threw out the first pitch. He's sitting in the stands. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him before we show you the first pitch and him up in the stands with his family tonight. Bailey looks like he's going to bunt. He's a graduate of Harvard. He was a quarterback for the Harvard Crimson and ended up being a baseball guy for the most part. ended up playing a little bit in the CFL. Jim Stokel did. He also coached Davidson baseball team for a few years. Beautiful university there in North Carolina. And he also coached the Dutch team in the WBC. There's Jim to your right. And after many years of being the Reds director of global scouting, and he was all over the place, believe me, trying to find players, he retired, and they honored him tonight with the first pitch, brought his family in, and it was a really nice ceremony for the Reds. Good guy, smart guy. I thought the smartest thing that he did is that a few years ago he coached the French team in, I think, their version of the WBC. And I said, if anybody can convince the home club that there's baseball prospects in the Bordeaux region of France, he's got my vote. I'm not sure if he came back with any pitchers, but he sure came back with a lot of wooden crates. There's Jim Stokel. Congratulations to Jim and the Reds.
35 years in Major League Baseball. Over 35 years.
And he played a little bit in the CFL. That part I have to look up, but I do know that he was quarterback for the Harvard Crimson.
Congratulations to him. 11 seasons with the Reds organization. Bailey pulls it back and pays the price. Five of them now for Cool. Back to the top of the order, and Jesse Winker. You know, you'd be big over there in France.
I'll take a scouting assignment over there sometime.
I was just going to say, could you hang with the language?
No.
They didn't teach you that at St. X? USF?
Not the French language, no.
Winker swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play.
Kind of an odd swing on a first pitch right there, almost a protection pitch for Winker. It didn't look like his heart was in it. Halfway through the swing, he probably thought, I hope this doesn't go fair.
Jesse 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking, lined out his last time up. He's behind in the count 0-2. Off the handle of the bat and run down by Polanco. We head to the 5th. 2-1 Reds. Cincinnati Children's, changing the outcome together. And by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. The Red Cross depends on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. And I have done that in the past and recently, and it's very simple. They'll send you a reply text. You confirm it, and that $10 shows up on your phone bill. It is a very simple process to help those in need. Homer Bailey begins his 5th inning of work. And he's got Max Moroff standing at the dish. 72 pitches for Homer. Yeah, he could use an inning of not very many pitches. We've talked about him wanting to pitch at least 7 innings. The season high is 6 2/3 back in July at Arizona. And last 2 starts got into the 7th inning, but the wheels fell off both times. On the 4th versus Milwaukee, took a shutout into the 7th. Didn't retire a batter, allowed a home run and 2 singles in a 4-run inning. And then Saturday versus the Mets, hit the first batter in the 7th, walked another as a 3-run inning. The Reds ended up losing the game.
Well, this you would think would set up as exactly the kind of inning that he would want, because you've got 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. So, you know, you may not see the pitcher, although Cool is in the on-deck circle right now. So this is a spot that when you line up your strategy before the game, you're thinking bottom of the order. These guys are outs. I've got to get them out every time they come up. He blew Moroff away his last time up. That turned out to be kind of a big at bat, although Diaz eventually scored on a sacrifice fly. He was trying to get the ball on in play and get the runner to third base and ended up striking out. Swung through a fastball.
More off the shortstop tonight. Again, Jordy Mercer, a rare night off. The Pirates have been without catcher Francisco Cervelli, still on the disabled list with a quad injury, which he injured against the Reds. And that was a tough situation. Cervelli came off the DL, played half a game against the Reds, and then hurt his quad, went right back on the disabled list.
Moroff will look like the cat that ate the canary on that. That was a foul tip all the way, but he wasn't sure if anybody else around home plate noticed, including Alan Porter, the home plate umpire. Watch his reaction. Ball gets foul tipped into the glove. Barnhart holds it, and he's like, well, what am I? Alan Porter finally says, hey, foul tip, you're out.
Well, I think Porter was a little bit of the cat as well, too, right there. Suarez sets himself, fires across for out number 2. So the Pirates without Cervelli. Josh Harrison out for the season, which we talked about earlier. He was hit by a pitch by Tyler Mahle. No Starling Marte in the starting lineup tonight. The pride of Princeton High. Third at bat for Adam Frazier. He looks at a first pitch fastball for a strike. Frazier flied out and walked his last time up. Homer shaking Barnhart off numerous times. Now brings it. A swing and a miss. And a 1-2-3 fifth for Homer. Reds up 2-1. For you a great value this season. It's the Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal. It includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, Frigo Cheesehead String Cheese. How we looking? Make sure you get your Kroger Meal Deal today. Zach Cozart steps in. 2-1 Reds, bottom of the fifth. Chad Kuhl still on the mound for the Pirates. Reds and Fox Sports Ohio would like to send out a very special happy birthday wish to Jack Champ Myers. He's been listening and watching the Reds for over 80 years. I said 80 years.
Well, happy birthday, Jack.
Jack Champ Myers. Hope you're having a great day.
And also happy birthday out to Denny Dennison, the father of our good friend Bill Seg Dennison, who also doubles up as the vice president of attendance.
Cozart bidding for home run number 2 on the night, and he's got it. Reds.
Well, another pitch, it's up. The first one was 97 right down the middle. This was up, and this is where Cozart's real wheelhouse is. Has been there ever since he came up to the major leagues. Very quick on a high inside pitch. And he does not disappoint Reds fans with that one.
22nd home run overall. 5th career multi-home run game. And that 22 total is the third most by a Red shortstop all time. Barry Larkin had 33 back in 1996. Felipe Lopez 23 in 05. So Cozart one off of tying himself for second on the all-time Reds shortstop home run list in a season. Votto working on a 2-for-2 night. Solo home run double. Average up to 319 and an on-base percentage of .453. Votto has now reached base 292 times this season, the most in the major leagues. Two-two pitch in the air, center field. Easy play for McCutchen. One out. Cool's behind 3-1, but he's had his way with Suarez so far. Struck him out both times up. One swinging, one looking. How about that seat? Ouch. Diaz wearing that hockey goalie style mask. There's some studies going on those masks as well, trying to figure out if that type of mask, which doesn't give much, is more protective than the old school style, which gives by simply moving. Whether which one prevents concussions or just so-called, you know, shaking the guy up by taking a foul ball like that. Lots of varying opinions.
Well, you know, we innocently say shaken up when it's actually a very serious condition.
Yeah. Well, I said concussions first, but I mean the ones that are not concussions but will still just open your eyes a little bit.
Well, just the way that mask is angled, especially the helmet part of the mask, kind of almost coming to a point in the front. It has a tendency, just by the shape of it, deflect a lot of those foul balls off.
Tucker Barnhart used to wear that style of mask. Now, last couple of seasons, he's gone back to the old school mask. That one much heavier. Tucker said one of the things he noticed was it's just much lighter to have the old school mask on, and over the long stretch of a season, he noticed the difference. Swing and a miss, had him out in front.
Just sort of seemed like in that at bat, Cool was determined to get Suarez a curveball. One way or another, he was either going to put it in play or he was going to strike out with it. But he was getting the curve. Here it is again. This is the one that puts him away.
2 outs and Scott Schebler at the plate. High drive. Right field. Hit well. Polanco at the wall. And it's gone. Second home run of the inning. And the Reds have a 4-1 lead.
Remember, we said that Scott Schebler doesn't hit many that are high, majestic fly ball home runs. Well, scratch that comment. Chad Kuhl looking and hoping, looking and hoping. But the nice level swing by Schebler and plenty enough muscle.
27 of them now for Scott Schebler.
What a great reaction out there.
Now, is there anything better in baseball than that right there? That smile. Yes, sir. Look at him just staring that thing down. He's gonna be staring at that baseball all night. He might sleep with that baseball tonight. Yeah, fired up. Action in the Pirates pen. Edgar Santana. Right-hander cranking it up. 4 home runs for the Reds now tonight. All solo shots. And thus a 4-1 lead. Sitting on the 100 pitch mark is Chad Kuhl. Here comes pitch 101. Seeing eye single. Right into the heart of the shift. And a base hit for Duvall.
Hit really sharply, actually, but you know they were playing him right. Just because it happens to go in between the two of them doesn't mean the Pirates were wrong with the shift. They're one of the teams that really adopted the adherence to the shift early on. And
that is going to be it for Chad Kuhl. Clint Hurdle takes the baseball. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Kuhl leaves after giving up 4 home runs. done. His team facing a 4-1 deficit, and the new pitcher on the hill is right-hander Edgar Santana.
Santana, the good news on Santana for the Pirates, he's got a great arm. The bad news is he's not sure really of the zip code all the time. He's walked 7 in 10 innings, giving up a couple of home runs, and that basically equates to a nightmarish start here to the major leagues for him into his 12th game.
Pitch to Jose Peraza, taken for a strike. Single to walk tonight for Peraza. Long drive. Left center field, but run down by McCutchen for the 3rd out. But 4 home runs by the Reds tonight, including 2 in the 5th. Cozart, 2nd of the night. Schebler, number 27 on the season. On Fox, you'll see the Ohio State Buckeyes take on Army on the football field, followed by the rematch 11 years in the making as Texas and USC tangle for the first time since the classic 2006 Rose Bowl. College football on FS1, Fox, and Fox Sports Go, where every game is everything. Cozart, 2 home runs tonight. Schebler with a 5th inning home run as well, and the Reds have a 4-1 lead as Homer Bailey begins inning number 6 of his work tonight. He'll face Luplow, McCutchen, and Bell, 2, 3, and 4 in the Pirates lineup. Bunting, but going and getting it is Barnhart. Got out and got it pretty good.
Well, you talked earlier about how athletic and quick that Tucker Barnhart is, and you're right. I mean, fast feet are good whether you play infield at shortstop or second base or whether you're a catcher. You get them moving, you get out there and you make the play.
Did an interview with him on the road trip and brought up what's talked about so much with Barnhart is McCutchen at the plate. That, and you guys talked about it so many times up here, that he was too small to play. And the question was posed, hey, it wasn't long ago where they were saying you're too small to play, and he got that smirky smile on his face. Yeah. And it was almost as if, yeah, I proved him wrong. And he continues to prove him wrong. And is proud of the fact that he's proved he could be an everyday catcher. I mean, there's no question about it anymore, I don't think.
I don't think there is. I know growing up, Jim, it was always, baseball was the one sport where it was always advertised that you didn't have to be very big to be a major leaguer. I mean, this is what I'm talking about when there were only 3 major sports before soccer came in, of course. But, you know, to be a football player, you got to be big for the most part. Basketball, that's obvious. But baseball, not so much. But now, if you look at Major League rosters, especially pitching staffs, you see these guys that are going, you know, they look more like NFL linemen. Like Sal Romano, who will be pitching tomorrow night, is as big as an NFL lineman.
Yeah. That was a pretty pitch by Bailey. Fooled McCutchen badly. 7 strikeouts now for Homer. Bidding for another 1-2-3 inning. It would be back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Homer. He's about to deliver pitch number 90.
Hey, one thing about Homer tonight, he's been very persistent. I mean, he stayed with his game plan. He's only had 1 inning where he's had an extended inning. He had 1 extended at bat to start the ball game off. So that started him off from the pitch count standpoint on the wrong foot. But, you know, he's staying stubborn with his stuff. He keeps trying to pound the fastball in there. His split finger hasn't been a good pitch for him tonight, but he keeps using it enough. And that's what he got McCutchen on.
Broken bat. Bell will get new lumber.
I mean, this is the kind of start really that you should set your expectations for Homer Bailey on going forward. Now, this is what the Reds had in mind when they signed him to a 5-year deal. And really the only thing that has kept him from fulfilling that is the health of his arm. And hopefully that stays. That's never a question again, and he can go out and anchor the pitching staff. It would certainly erase another question if you could count on Bailey for, you know, 30 starts next year.
Reds playing Bell to pull. Votto close to the line at first. Cozart nearly behind the bag at second base. Suarez playing way over. Somehow here in the 6th, we're not on the same page. Well, it has been a while since Homer Bailey has tasted victory here at Great American Ballpark. Injury certainly a factor in there, but August 7th, 2014 versus Cleveland. Count's gone full to Bell. And he walked him.
I think Homer mad at himself after that pitch. He tried to sneak a little splitter in there on a 3-2 count and just did not get through it and left it high and away.
Only the 2nd walk of the night for Bailey. MLB.TV every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Michael Lorenzen, first action of the night in the Reds bullpen. David Freese 1 for 2 tonight. Struck out and single. One. Right center field. That'll find the gap and find the wall. Schebler races it down. They're going to hold Josh Bell at third base. And a 2-out double by David Freese has him on second and third.
Well, Freese went that way the last time up and hit the ball very sharply. It ended up being a single. but he really likes going to right field. David Freese does. And that one is a sizzler right between the center fielder and the left fielder. Now, Michael Lorenzen has just started to get warmed up down at the bullpen, so he's not ready yet. That's why Mac Jenkins will sprint out to the mound right here and try to get Bailey a few extra seconds to compose himself before he faces Polanco and give the bullpen guy a little chance to get loose.
Well, a milestone hit for Freese, career hit number 900. Couple of infielders having a discussion about hitting. All right, we're in the sixth. Pretty big at bat in this game. Tying run at the plate. 2 outs.
Especially with a guy that has some home run power here in Gregory Polanco. 10 of them on the year, but he's been injured.
Bailey missing badly.
Polanco, if you remember his last at bat, a long fly ball to right field that Winker pulled in right against the right field wall.
Barnhart setting up inside. Bailey puts it there, but way inside.
How did he get out of the way of that one?
No, he didn't. Alan Porter says it hit him.
I'll tell you, that might be it did hit him a little bit. It looked like it hit that little shin brace that he's got there, that little shin protector. I think that may be a break for Bailey right here. You had runners at second and third. You had the base open anyway, and a left-hander up there that is a little tougher hitter than Elias Diaz. And Bailey will not be allowed to face Diaz as well. Maybe Brian Price is not making a change. He's just going to ask for a little challenge here to see if that ball actually was a hit by pitch. So Joe West will sprint in along with Alan Porter, and they'll put on the headsets.
Did you just say Joe West will sprint in?
Well, he slowed down a little bit now. I got to figure with Porter making that call behind the plate that he did it with his ears rather than his eyeballs. He probably heard some contact and then told Polanco to go ahead and go to first base.
It did appear from that center field look that the ball changed trajectory just a little bit.
You think anybody back at the Central Command there in New York who are looking at the replays, they say, hey, Joe, listen, while we're reviewing the play, can you give us a couple of bars of your, of your favorite Johnny Cash?
I don't know. There's plenty of Johnny Cash songs to choose from, and I'm sure there's one that's apropos for replay. You and I have both sat in that replay center, though, and I want to tell you, it's a hot seat now.
That's a fast 3 minutes.
It's unbelievable when we sat there. We've talked about this many times, but they sat there and they put us in the exact situation. They queued up a play, and we're going through all the angles, and we hadn't made our decision yet, and they said, you're 2 minutes in. We're like, 2 minutes? It flies by. And here's the call. Looks like the call's going to stand or confirm. We'll find out. Call is confirmed.
I still think, though, in the long run, that this is a break, although the Reds could easily have gone ahead and walked him anyway. Now Bailey with some disappointment as Brian Price is definitely coming out to make a pitching change. Bailey wanted this inning, and he's not happy about this decision by Price.
Well, he was cruising along in the inning, retired the first 2 batters, walk, double, now hit by pitch. So bases loaded and 2 outs. And Michael Lorenzen will face that situation when we come back. Leaves 2 outs here in the 6th. Reds trying to hold on to a 4-1 lead. He struck out 7 along the way, walked 2, hit a batter.
Not a bad outing overall for Homer Bailey. He's not happy. I can guarantee you that. He wanted to finish the inning. He was very unhappy with the decision by Brian Price to take him out of the game. But this inning started very innocently. Started with a pop up to the, or a little play in front of home plate, and then a strikeout, then a walk, a base hit, opposite field hit, and a barely hit by pitch ends up running Bailey out of here. And now Michael Lorenzen.
He'll face catcher Elias Diaz. Bases juice, 2 outs. Ground ball right at Votto. 1 pitch, 1 out for Lorenzen, and the Pirates strand 3. 4-1 Reds on Fox Sports Ohio. The National League as Cody Bellinger leads the Dodgers against Daniel Murphy and the Nationals on Fox 12:30, and then at 3:30 on FS1 Royals and the Red Hot Indians. You can also stream both games on Fox Sports Go. Indians losing 4-3 in the 6th right now to the Kansas City Royals, and that would snap a record 21 game winning streak. 22, excuse me. They're winning so many games it's hard to keep up. So some big games going on around Major League Baseball. And a big one was played today at Wrigley Field, and a wild one at that, as Tucker Barnhart will lead off here in the inning. Edgar Santana still on the hill for the Pirates. That Cubs game, Cubs against the Cardinals, as the Cubs trying to hold on to a 3-game lead in the Central. And a little bit of a heated altercation between John Lackey, the catcher Contreras, and umpire Jordan Baker, which ended up with Lackey and Contreras both being tossed from the game. But then the Cubs put a 7 spot on the board and went on to win 8-2.
That makes it a 4-game lead there by the Cubs over the Cardinals, with 2 more games to play in that series. Reds will have the Cardinals in town next week, and they will finish the season, last 3 games of the year, in Chicago at Wrigley Field.
The Brewers also came in 3 back, and they're in the 4th inning as Barnhart sends one into right field. That'll rattle around in the corner. Tucker on his way to second base with double number 22 on the season. And our big story for tonight indeed is John Lackey. He was heated when he didn't get the strike call. Watch the batter, Martinez. He's going to the dugout thinking he's out.
Well, he is confident, and it really did look like a strike. And right after that, the next batter gets a base hit, and watch him go right after Jordan Baker. Baker's already waved him out of the game while the play is being still in action. Ball is in play. He eventually thumbs out Contreras as well, as Contreras goes for it. But as I look back at that pitch, and I've watched that pitch several times, Lackey can blame Wilson Contreras nearly as much as he can blame Jordan Baker, the umpire, because the way Contreras jabbed at that ball did not exactly do a nice light-handed catching deal with that pitch. Made it look like a ball.
Here's Patrick Kivlehan, who came in on the double switch when Homer Bailey was lifted from the game. Batting in the 9 spot, his first at bat of the night. Contreras, we didn't see that at the end there, but he stomped his catcher's mask down, hit off the ground. It ended up hitting the leg of Jordan Baker, the umpire, and that'll at least be a fine. But in the end, the Cubs prevail, and that's a big weekend series at Wrigley. See if the Brewers can keep pace, 3 back of the Cubs. We go down the stretch here in the 2017 National League Central Division race. One pitch to Kivlehan, swing and a miss. Just joining us, the Reds 4 home runs tonight, all solo home runs. Votto got it started in the 1st. Cozart in the 3rd. And Cozart hits his 2nd of the night in the 5th, followed up by Schebler. And that's the cushion, 4-1. So we'll see if the magic number is 4. And we talked about this in the open. Reds are 10-0 against the Pirates when they score 4 runs or more. 0-6 when they score 3 or less. Kivlehan draws the walk. So 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Top of the order, Jesse Winker. Winker, a product of Camp Larkin in the offseason. It was nice to see Larkin on the pregame show, by the way. Again, Tech Talk.
He did a great job tonight. We talked about bunt defenses and the swing play, which I think is a fascinating defensive play. No one explained it better than Larkin does, and that was a good one.
Winker squares around a bunt and lays it down nicely. Sacrifice goes 1-3. Two runners in scoring position.
You know, anytime you get a 1-3 put out on a sacrifice bunt, especially with runners at first and second, it tells me that the other team was not expecting a bunt at all. They were expecting Winker, who's a legitimate hitter, top of the lineup in this game, to go out there and swing away. I'm wondering if maybe he did that on his own.
Well, just looking at Price and Winker there, I would say that that's a distinct possibility. That's Winker's first sacrifice bunt since 2012 in rookie ball, says Joe Luckup. Wow. Average up to 303 now for Cozart. Working on a 2-home run night. Cozart has never had a 3-home run game in his career. Pirates infield playing in. Second and third, 1 out. Two and 1. Here they are. Bang. Both of them to left field. The second one just getting over the wall. Chopper. Nice play by the shortstop Moroff, and keeps the runners at second and third, and now 2 outs in the inning. They'll intentionally walk Joey Votto to load him up for Suarez. Edgar Santana trying to keep it a 4-1 game.
Well, this really puts some pressure on Santana because he's had wildness. He's got one unintentional walk in this inning, second batter that he faced down at the bottom of the order, Kiblahan. He's walked nearly a batter per inning since he's been up in the major leagues in his 12 games. So Suarez can pretty much wait for something right down the middle if he wants to.
Big situation for the rookie pitcher for the Pirates.
You can see him really pull off with his front side. You talk about pitching mechanics. If you watch the left shoulder of Santana here, he really flies open, and does a couple of things. It helps him throw the ball hard, but it also leaves the ball in different places that he doesn't want. Up and in and low and away. Good breaking ball there. Watch that front arm really fly right. He keeps it high, but then by the time he's thrown, that glove is way down, the shoulder is wide open, and there's the baseball for you to see.
25 years of age, hailing from the Dominican Republic. Delivers a 1-1 pitch. Check swing taken for a strike.
A backup slider. It's a great pitch if you can do it on command.
Fooled him. Red strand 3, but lead 4-1 as we head to the 7th. Price Reds tickets. Enjoy live mascot races, face painters, carnival games, and more. Plus, kids 14 and younger will get a Michael Lorenzen fat head thanks to Coca-Cola. For tickets, visit Reds.com. And the aforementioned Michael Lorenzen stays on the hill for the 7th. He came into the 6th. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and got Diaz to ground out. So he'll face his second batter of the night. And it will be Max Moroff. So Lorenzen will get Moroff, a pinch hitter, and the top of the order in Frazier here in the 7th. Reds with a 4-1 lead. Tell you what, Strick's got some good music coming out of the phone over there. I thought I heard Mick Jagger and the Stones. That was a good relief. I think that phone has a mind of its own. John Jaso on deck for the Pirates.
Boy, nice easy fastball right there by Lorenzen.
At 98. Here's a guy the Reds would love to see straighten out over the last couple weeks of the season. It's been a bit of a rough second half for Michael Lorenzen. Strike 3 called.
You know, watching Michael Lorenzen pitch reminds me that young pitchers don't know it all. I mean, you naturally assume because the guy makes the major leagues in a hurry and he's blessed with a fastball that he throws around 100 and he's got good breaking stuff. And he's a good interview and a smart kid and he works hard and does all the other things that he knows a lot about the pitching delivery and how to diagnose himself. And that's far from the truth. That's something that comes with a lot of experience, a lot of innings, time. And it comes with bumps in the road where you have to figure out yourself what you need to do to get back on track. And I think Lorenzen is still learning that. I think a lot of these other young pitchers are doing the same thing.
Well, the Pirates had John Jaso in the on-deck circle, but they pulled him back, and this is Jose Osuna. Talk about Michael Lorenzen. He is also a good citizen. You want to talk about putting in time, whether it be at the Urban Youth Academy, whether it be visiting Children's Hospital, whether it be he's very strong in his faith, whether it be church work, missionary work, you name it, he's done it.
I don't think anybody's gotten any closer than you have as far as the media, Jim, to Lorenzen, to know his story, to meet his family, to hear him tell this story over and over again. And it's a compelling one.
Back-to-back strikeouts here in the inning.
And he gets away with the breaking ball. Sometimes you hang your breaking ball up so high that it can be effective. You throw that down around the waist, chances are somebody blisters it into the gap.
It looked like a bit of a spin ball, but as you said, got away with it because it was upstairs. First pitch to Adam Frazier misses inside. Easy gas tonight. That one at 98. And what looks like an effortless delivery. Indians still trailing the Royals 4-3. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Royals trying to break that Indians 22-game winning streak. Brewers still tied at 2 going to the 5th against the Marlins, trying to stay 3 back of the Cubs. Frazier thought he drew a walk. Alan Porter calls strike 2, and we've gone full. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball at Votto. Flip to Lorenzen, and a 1-2-3 inning for Michael. Stretch time, 4-1 Reds. Army on Game Time with Urban Meyer tomorrow morning at 9 on Fox Sports Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go as the Buckeyes try to get back on track after Oklahoma took care of business last Saturday night in the shoe. Reds taking care of business so far. 4-1 lead. The pitcher on the hill. For the Pirates, it's right-hander A.J. Schugel. Schugel's been charged with a run just twice in his last 22 outings. That's 21 innings. Good numbers, 4-0 record, and that ERA at 1.86. They'll face Schebler, Duvall, and Peraza here in the home seventh.
Schugel is not one of those pitchers that comes out of the pen throwing 100 miles an hour. Now the Pirates have a number of those, but his best pitch is the changeup, and he throws it an awful lot. And there it is.
Had him out in front. One out. Schugel, 28 years of age. Born in Winter Haven, Florida. Although he went to high school in Colorado, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And attended Central Arizona College. '25th round pick, 2010 June draft. Here's Michael Lorenzen, who thought about a bunt. I said Duvall, but Duvall lifted on a double switch earlier in this game. You talk to Michael Lorenzen, and he's not happy about the 182 batting average. Former college center fielder. Was billed as a really good hitting pitcher, and he would still be considered that. Dangerous hitter. But he thinks he's better than 182. I know that.
Every pitcher thinks he's better than 182. Schugel setting up that off-speed pitch with a fastball up around the eyes. We'll take a look at this one. It's either going to be the curveball or the changeup. Looks like a combination of both.
Down goes Lorenzen. 2 outs in the 7th. Stick around after the game. We'll put a capper on this one, as we always do. It's Reds Live, the post-game edition. It's brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. Always hear from the manager before anyone else. Locker room reaction and more emanating from the Fox Sports Ohio condominium. First pitch swinging as Peraza fouls it straight back. Peraza 1 for 2 on the night. Single, flied out, and walked.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before about how Peraza has a very unusual action with his back foot. And we're going to take a look at it here as we've zoned in on it and give you a shot of it. He actually starts out like every other hitter and then steps back with his back foot just very slightly. I know he and Don Long have been working on staying close and staying back as best he can, and that's beginning to work for him.
Off to the 8th we go. Here's our Honda game summary. 4 solo home runs tonight by the Reds. Joey Votto, number 35 in the first. Cozart with 2 of them tonight. And a 2-home run inning in the 5th. Cozart again. And Schebler delivered number 27 for him. All coming off of Chad Kuhl. And that's the difference in the game. 4-1 Reds. As we've reached the 8th. And Michael Lorenzen still on the hill for the Reds. Lorenzen came on in the 6th, got out of a bases loaded jam for Homer Bailey, retiring Diaz on a ground out. A 1-2-3 7th, striking out 2. And here he is in the 8th facing Jordan Luplow. Warming up at the Reds pen, Russell. And he hasn't had much work of late. Two-one pitch misses. 3-1. And a leadoff walk to Luplow. That is just the 3rd walk given up by Reds pitching tonight. 2 by Bailey, now 1 by Lorenzen. Just joining us, Homer Bailey goes 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run. Walked a couple batters and struck out 7. Now it's Lorenzen v. McCutchen. Almost hit him.
All of a sudden now Lorenzen has just come completely wacky with his delivery.
Mark of a good catcher to pick right up on it.
Well, you go 2-0 because if you go 3-0 or you lose him to a walk, you're going to either see the manager or the pitching coach. So sometimes a catcher will run out there and say, you want to see somebody other than me, keep throwing baseballs out of the strike zone.
Hard hit ball, chasing it down. Schebler makes the basket catch.
Got a good jump on that one, did Scott Schebler, and he covered a lot of ground. You know, no matter how you cut it, though, Schebler does a nice job on this ball, and he does a nice job in center field, but no matter how you cut it, anytime the guy that you compare to defensively is Billy Hamilton, it's an unfair comparison. And I think you can say that almost to nearly every other center fielder in the league, not just guys on your own team who are playing center field.
Swing and a miss by Josh Bell. Well, here we are in September again, and September has not been kind to Billy Hamilton as far as injuries go. If we do not see him return, is it going to hurt him for a Gold Glove, which many thought he should have won last year? Is it a factor? Or has everyone seen enough that, I mean, I haven't seen a better center fielder this year.
Well, I mean, is the question for Gold Glove, is it the best center fielder or is it the guy that had the best defensive year in center field or in the outfield? And I think the same question, remains among a lot of the pitchers who are at the top of the list for Cy Young Award, who missed some time. Scherzer, Strasburg.
Base hit up the middle. Stopping at second base is Luplow. And the tying run will come to the plate.
And the same goes for MVP guys. Mike Trout missed a lot of time there in the American League, but he's had a MVP type season.
Here comes Brian Price.
Not taking any chances tonight.
And he has made the call right away for Raisel Iglesias.
Well, you're coming off a road trip where you lost 5 of 7. And that leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you want to finish strong, and he knows he's got a hammer in the pen, and why not bring him in right now?
Lorenzen leaves. And that hammer, Raisel Iglesias, will come on for what the Reds hope is another multi-inning save. Out in the 8th.
This is a little bit about what Brian Price had anticipated in the very beginning of the year when he told all the riders and the players and of course the bullpen guys that hey, be expected to come out there and give us multiple innings. So multiple innings so far for Lorenzen, who came in with 2 out in the 6th innings for Homer Bailey. He pitched 1 2/3 overall, and now a multiple inning save opportunity for Raisel Iglesias.
He'll face David Freese. We talked about Iglesias. Hasn't had much work of late. Just 1 outing in the last 9 days. And that was in New York against the Mets. 2 innings. Raisel leads the major leagues with 10 saves of at least an inning and 2/3.
Well, that's what happens as far as the time off goes when your team gets on the road and they don't win very many games. 2-5 against the Mets and then the Cardinals. So the one game they did win against the Cardinals was a blowout win, so you did not need Iglesias in that game. His first 2 pitches, though, if that's any indication, he is dealing tonight. 2 blazing fastballs right on the corner.
Oh-2 pitch. Freese just 1 for 6 career versus Iglesias. Do the 0-2 again. Here it comes. .296 hitter this season with runners in scoring position. He's got one of those at second base. Josh Bell at first base. He reaches out, punches it to the right side, out of play.
Iglesias is just about at the same number of innings that he pitched last year, which is in the 70s. He had 78 last year, but you have to remember that he started 5 games. That was earlier in the year, and did get sidelined a little bit with some arm issue, and when he came back they decided the bullpen was his best spot.
One-two pitch. 2-2.
Well, he has seen a lot of bullpen bodies come and go in that Reds bullpen so far this year.
Count stays at 2-2. Freeze a 2-for-3 night so far. And delivered his 900th career hit in this game. Swing and a miss. Big out for Iglesias.
Kind of funny, Iglesias got ahead of him 0-2 with fastballs and then kind of fooled around with the breaking ball and eventually went back to that number 1 and threw it right by him. Look at that grouping of pitches down and away.
That heater was 99. Now with 2 outs, it's Gregory Polanco. When Iglesias has had problems, it's been against left-handed hitters. Polanco 5 for 12 off of Iglesias, 417 clip. There's his lefty-righty splits.
Really, the big difference for Iglesias in that lefty-righty split is more an on-base percentage than anything else. I mean, if you hold batters to a 240 batting average, that's what you hold lefties to. That's not bad at all. But he's walked a lot of left-handers, maybe pitching around him a little bit, being a little tentative.
He's 1 strike away from getting out of the jam. And the crowd's hoping it's magic strikeout number 11 on the night for Reds pitchers.
Where I think that if Iglesias climbs the ladder with that fastball, he'll throw it right by Polanco.
First and second, 2 outs, tying run at the plate, and the 1-2 pitch. Foul ball. We'll do the 1-2 again. Polanco stays alive and Barnhart a trip to the mound. And he'll be joined by Suarez. In case there's a little interpreting needed. And indeed, that's exactly what's happened. Swing and a miss. Throw down to first, and Iglesias gets it done in the 8th.
It's Milwaukee and Miami. This is D. Gordon, a little flare. Eric Cozart, the shortstop, coming out. Oh, what a catch there. Now, this game originally scheduled for Miami, but because of Hurricane Irma, it was moved to Milwaukee. Miami, even though they're wearing Milwaukee, the white uniforms, is the visiting team at home. 2-2 is your score in the 6th inning. Milwaukee and Miami. And here's the National League Central standings. As of now, Chicago winner today, so they lead Milwaukee by 3.5. St. Louis now 4 back, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Gentlemen.
All right, elsewhere.
I don't know if you really noticed that or not, but the pitcher in that ball game for the Milwaukee Brewers is Jeremy Jeffress, who's a reliever. He started the game tonight. So Craig Counsell pulling out all stops here at the end of the year, trying to keep his Brewers in the race.
Tucker Barnhart first pitch swinging off of the new pitcher Felipe Rivero on an easy first out. And much like Iglesias, Rivero hasn't been getting a lot of work lately.
Yeah, he's only pitched twice in the last 10 days. That's the Maytag repairman story of teams that don't win a lot, and they've got a nice closer down there with a golden arm. You just don't get a chance to use him. He's having a splendid year. 83 strikeouts in 69 innings. Only 19 walks. So not only great stuff, but he's around the plate.
Patrick Kivlahan is second at bat of the night. He's hit by the pitch. He'll take first the hard way. Ouch.
Looked like it got him right on the toe. Oh, no, it was the shin.
Ooh. That bad boy will be swelling up here in a minute. I'm sure he's felt similar. Wow, Rivera all over the place now. Up and in to Jesse Winker.
If he really wanted to be cruel to Kivlahan, he could step off and do that quick throw over to first base and make Kivlahan move his feet real fast. I can tell you that shin is barking.
One pitch to Winker. 100 miles per hour from Rivera.
I read a minutia type of statistic today would rank the different types of bullpens, the different bullpens in the league, and the most number of pitches they've thrown over 100 miles per hour. And the Pirates are right near the top of that. And I would imagine a lot of those pitches have come off the arm of Felipe Rivero.
Well, Rivero's developed into exactly what the Pirates are looking for. And you think Dusty Baker would like to have Rivero about right now?
Well, that's where he came from, obviously. The Washington Nationals. They needed a closer in the worst way the Nationals did. So a couple of years ago, they traded Mark Melanson to the Nationals, and they got this young arm in return.
Left center field. Chasing it down is McCutchen. 2 outs. So your Reds take on the Pirates tomorrow right here at Great American Ballpark. And thanks to John Morrell, the first 20,000 fans through the gates will receive a triple bobblehead featuring Reds first baseman past and present Tony Perez, Sean Casey, and Joey Votto. Catch all the action for as low as $12 for tickets. Visit Reds.com. I'm not a huge bobblehead guy, but I got to tell you, this is one I want. 3 for the price of 1.
All good guys and great players.
Doggy, the mayor, and Joey. RBI guy, keep the line moving guy, and an all-around guy. Here's Cozart. 2-home run night. The Reds shortstop. One and one, the count to Zach. Cozart 1 hit in 5 plate appearances versus Rivero. Two-one. Center field. We head to the 9th. Iglesias trying to close it down. It's Reds Live, the pregame edition, as always brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. First look at the lineups, features, interviews, Tom's tidbits, and more. And tomorrow afternoon, it'll be 3:30 for Reds Live. And featured on the pregame show tomorrow, Sal Romano, his last time out against the Mets. First time that his dad got to see him pitch live on a major league mound. And I actually went into the stands with my little camera and caught the action as Mom and Dad checked him out in New York. And you will hear firsthand from the other Sal. That would be Papa Sal.
I'm looking forward to that. That was a great day, and I was very impressed because it was your day off that you went into the stands with your fancy little camera and got up close and personal with the Romano family. Good stuff there, Jim.
Thank you. Did you say Jim's day off?
No such thing for you, right?
No. According to Cincinnati USA, I have a lot of them. And that one was in New York City. More precisely, Flushing, New York. Good family. Had about 200 people from Southington, Connecticut. They were rowdy up there, too. They all bought their own tickets. But Sal was really proud, really happy that his dad finally got to see him on a major league mound. And you could tell, you could hear it, see it in his eyes, and you'll see that tomorrow on the pregame show. All right, Iglesias trying to close it down, trying for an inning and 2/3 save here. Facing Diaz, Moroff, as Diaz sends it into right field, but Winker runs it down, 1 out. Now Max Moroff. Three times up for Moroff, 3 strikeouts. John Jaso in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. And his hair. Swing and a miss. Moroff a strike away from a 4 strikeout night. Two-two pitch. 3-2. Payoff pitch. Fouled out of play. Reminder, tomorrow will also be joined again by Hunter Green in the 4th inning. 2nd overall pick in this year's draft. Highly publicized pick. Making his first trip to Cincinnati. In fact, he's in town now. And will be making the rounds tomorrow. And we'll have more on that in the upcoming days on Reds Live as well. But he will join us here in the booth in inning number 4. Al Oliver's joining us tomorrow, isn't he?
Yes, he is. The scoop will be around the 6th inning. I think we'll have Hunter Green on earlier in the program, and I'm looking forward to having Al Oliver come up to the booth talk a little bit about the old days, the We Are Family days with the Pittsburgh Pirates and how they wrangled it up with the Big Red Machine. And get his perspective on hitting, especially, man. That guy could flat out rake, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him about that a little bit.
What was his big year? 71, was that right?
Did he only have one?
Well, I mean,
his big year should be the year he goes in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm talking about one where he was batting champ, MVP. That's off the top of my head. I was only off by 11 years, 1982. What did I say, 71? Count is 0-2 to John Jaso. 1982, 331 average, 109 RBIs, 204 hits, all led the National League. Swing and a miss, and the Pirates are down to their last out. Third strikeout for Iglesias.
Well, he struck out 2 last inning to put the side away in the relief of Michael Lorenzen, and he takes care of Jaso here. Nice little slider down and in, and Jaso just swings right over the top.
Adam Frazier. 2 outs and a runner on. Reds trying for a series opening victory over the Pirates. First pitch strike. Runner goes. That'll be defensive indifference. More off at second base. All Iglesias is worrying about is Adam Frazier. A 1-1 count. One and two. Pirates down to their last strike. Two and two. Frazier stays alive. Jordan Luplow on deck should we get there. Iglesias got what he wants. Frazier hanging tough. Iglesias about to deliver the 2-2 pitch again. Catch down there. Some good catches tonight in the ballpark.
Well, the Reds before the game tonight honored a number of youth baseball teams on the field. I don't know if anyone from those guys were included, but that's a nice grab.
Tell you what, he had his friend's glove in the way as well. Shot to the left side. Diving is Kiblehan, and he comes up empty. One run's going to score. Frazier on his way to third base, and he's in there with a triple. It's a 4-2 game.
Well, it just seemed like Frazier was going to go down the left field line no matter what after he fouled a couple down that way, including the line drive on the previous pitch.
That is one where you just can't leave your feet. Not even close was Kiblehan. Easy for me to say it. Swing and a miss by Luplow.
The tying run here at the plate, and this is a pretty smart move by Iglesias, is to keep that slider on him. Luplow had a very good swing on a ball that ended up going for a sacrifice fly in the third inning. Plated the first Pirate run off of Homer Bailey. He's got some power.
With 2 strikes, we will tell you that the Indians' winning streak ends at 22. Kansas City beats them 4-3 tonight. What a run for the Indians. Oh, 2 from Iglesias. Royals in the streak. Luplow representing the tying run, and here's a shot to left field, but Kiblehan's there, and Iglesias closes the door. Put it in the win column for the Reds. 4-2 your final, as the Reds are now 11-6 against Pittsburgh this season. 5th consecutive win at home for the Reds, tying the longest streak of the season, as they take game 1 of a 3-game weekend set versus the Buccos. And we'll be back with much more on Fox Sports Ohio after this.